There could hardly be a better place then for me to find this exciting project where young people aged 16 to 18 are actually building their own homes.
Well, I've learnt new skills being here. One thing that you're helping each other out, and you know what house, you know what you're building. And before I was here, I didn't even have a clue how to do building.
Once I've moved in, I can use my house as like a springboard, if you like, to move myself on to further careers using the training that I've received on the scheme.
The most important thing is I was out of work, and this was a great chance for me to learn, you know, and took the opportunity.
Well, it feels good moving into your own house because you can do what you like, and you wouldn't get a chance again at this age because you have to be on the list for a long time before you get a house. So I was pretty pleased with doing it. And I've bought some curtains and carpet myself with the money I've earned here.
A second scheme operates here in Southampton, and for young people like Mark, it has been a godsend.
I'm 22 years old, been in care for 20 years, in various hostels, currently with a girlfriend and a 4-month-old baby, and an ex-offender.
Without this scheme, Mark would have been on the slippery slope to homelessness and re-offending.
I had to go and report to a probation officer once a week. They found me a temporary accommodation in a bed set, which eventually I lost. So I was then placed in a hostel for ex-offenders, where I got into more trouble. While waiting in court, I was taken to a bail hostel, where I then heard about the scheme that I'm currently on. A house means a lot to me. It means I can actually settle down for once in my life without looking over my shoulder, and actually sort my life out. Well, I've gone for a couple of interviews. One was working actually in a petrol station, and I went for the interview, and I turned up, and I didn't even get through the door. I had to fill out an application form there and then, and then I was supposed to interview there and then. But as soon as I filled out the application form and put on there I was an ex-offender, that was it. Didn't even see me. I just felt really gutted.
Despite that experience, Mark remains optimistic.
At the same time, in Brent, young people were doing the same thing.
I actually started hitching and I fell asleep in the truck. And he said, "Hey, I'll make King's Cross." It's like, okay, here I am.
How long had you been out of work?
Officially about 18 months, 2 years. The support worker was really helpful for the group as a whole. She took a lot of work on her shoulders, stuff that we couldn't deal with. Whether it's dealing with the Housing Benefit Office, people signing on, signing off, probation services. It was really helpful having somebody there who could deal with it for us. She knew how to deal with authority, how to speak to the people. The training was a little different. We had a training manager who was responsible for us on site, and to come here on site was a lot more effective training for the kind of carpentry I wanted to do.
Okay, when I first started, I think the first sort of job I was involved in, which was like, I think 70% of the work at the time, was carrying plasterboard from the bottom of the stairs right up to the top floor. That was really lots of fun.
The firm brought in a foreman to supervise us and show us how to read plans and how to use the tools, and that really went up fairly well. That was a real good team building exercise, just on the sheer amount of work to do. And I found that really useful. Once you saw the skeleton of the house go up, just the wooden structure, it actually looked like a house. You knew what you were working for there and then.
And I had to go for a 3-day trial, basically, for the rest of the team to find out whether I'd be a good person to take on board and whether I could handle maybe the dust and the dirt and the grime and all the rest of it. So I went on for 3 days, and on the first day I was thinking, this isn't bad, you know, I wouldn't mind being involved on this scheme. And then the second day I thought, gosh, I really want to be on this scheme. And by the third day I thought, I have to be on this scheme, I have to. So anyway, luckily I was voted in, and I got on.
And the 8 of us who were part of the team then actually went out there for a week in Wales with the support worker. And it was great. I mean, we found out what exactly we could do with each other. I mean, we might not have liked each other personally, but we could work with each other.
Now I've got a home which I'm most definitely proud of, which I'm sure many of my friends envy, and which has provided me with a lot of stability.
Lessons learned from Brent and Southampton were applied to a second scheme in Brighton.
In just a few weeks' time, all 11 flats in this building will be occupied. The people who will be moving in are looking forward to having their independence for the first time.
We know we've got a future in front of us now. We're not going to get chucked out on any time. They want us to be out. So, yeah, it's made a big difference to us.
Many of the trainees have been brought up in care. Some of them have criminal records. The scheme is designed to give them a fresh start.
19-year-old Cavan Griggs tells us how a scheme for unemployed young people is now helping him to build his own home.
Before I started on site, I was unemployed and basically being naughty, and then I got into trouble, and then through probation I heard about this scheme, and if it wasn't through probation then I wouldn't have even known this scheme existed, let alone that I was eligible to go on the scheme. I got involved because it was mainly to build my own flat, and plus I get a knowledge into the building industry, and hopefully at the end of all of that I'll be able to achieve a carpentry and joinery MVQ at level 2, and hopefully if the employer says that sees how we work on that, he said that we've got a possibility of a job with the company.
What have I got out of it? I've got an extremely good flat, I've got qualifications, and I've got an extremely good job working at the place who provided the training for us. They said, we're looking for somebody to work in our office. How would you like it? I said, sure. I've been there almost a year now. Great. I've got qualifications, a future. I've got out of the poverty trap.
If I hadn't had the chance to do this, I actually sought myself out, I'd have ended up in prison. I mean, that's the biggest difference. And the other one is meeting Tracy and settling down, basically, which just really quietened me down.
Since the scheme has ended, I've started a business administration course and IT. I feel like now I'm definitely working towards something, and things are looking bright for the future.